surprised to know that I am in your standard 10 textbooks in English and that you've been studying my story. And I want to say I love you and I thank you so much for coming here tonight. I want to inspire you. Welcome to tonight. I want to talk about some 6 things that we can all remember when we go through ups and downs. And I want you to know that many people look at me as a hero and many people see me maybe as somebody that makes a difference. But I have to say something that I am so inspired by the government here in Guntur because of the incredible opportunities that they've given everyone here across the state to have education and food and helping everyone have a full potential in education. Can we thank your government? Thank your government right now. Thank you. Thank you very much. I want to say that everyone here, we must understand that we all can make a difference somehow, but there are times in life where we feel like, well, I'm not going to make a difference. That's different. It's special. Or, you know, when you look at BYS 400, you go, or Honorable Chief Minister of Andhra Pradesh, I want to, like, when you look at that person, I want you to know that everyone begins in the beginning. Everyone say the beginning. Everyone say the beginning. Everyone in life starts in the beginning. And I want you to know that when you look at so many people, I want you to understand when you look at me, I'm not a hero, I'm not a superhero. We all have ups and downs. We have good days and bad days. And many of us have gone through, especially in the last 3 years, some difficulties of anxiety and depression. And I want you to know that in those difficulties, don't think that we are alone because we're not. At the beginning of my life, you may say, well, Nick, I can't imagine having a life without limbs. Well, I want you to know that so many people look at me and say, well, Nick, at least you were born in a home that loved you. And I was really understanding that in the beginning, we all have a choice. Everyone say a choice. Some things we don't get to choose what happens to us, but we choose what we do with what we have. And when we go through our life, there are times in life where we may not understand our anxiety, our depression, and I'll tell you right now, there are times in life where we lose loved ones. And I believe it's worse being in a broken home or losing loved ones than having no limbs. So you might look at me and say, wow, I can't imagine my life without limbs. But I look at you and I say, well, I can't imagine maybe what you're going through. And the amazing thing about life is to never ever compare each other's brokenness. What we must understand is that we all have a day at a time. And my parents said, Nick, you were not given arms and legs, but you have a brain. Use your brain. And so they said to me, Nick, don't focus on what you don't have, focus on what you do have. And there'll be always times where you look at other people and say, man, I wish I had what they had. And I want you to know, first of all, you need to be thankful for who you are and what you have. I want you to know that every single girl, you're beautiful just the way that you are, and you boys, you are cool. And I want you to know you don't need to prove yourself to anybody. I don't care how smart you are. I don't care how rich or poor you are. I love you and I believe in you. You have to believe first in yourself. When you look at your life and you look at me, sure, I have a disability, but you know what? The greatest disability of all is the mindset. Their full potential because they truly believe that they never want to be a person who's called a failure. really doesn't matter how you look. Some of us are tall, some of us are short, some of us go through different stages of life. But I'll tell you right now, you know what's beautiful about me and you? Is when I look at you, I don't look you on your body, I look you in your eye. And when I look you in your eye, they say that my smile, you realize that it doesn't matter if you're short or tall or smart or not as smart as other people. Be the best you can be and be your best friend. Go to the person next to you and say, hey, I love you just the way you are.
I love you, yo.
You got it? Can you all hear me?
Yes!
Turn to the person next to you and say, I love you. Go. I want you to know that it's possible, but it's not impossible. For you to achieve above what you think is impossible, you need to figure out what you're going to try and learn and try to do. I didn't wake up one morning and just start having a speaking career. I woke up and I went to school one day, and guess what? I was a student government body leader at my school, and the janitor who immigrated from India to Australia, he looked at me and he saw me speak in front of my whole school, and this Indian friend of mine said, you are going to be a speaker. And I said, what? He said, you're going to go around the world and speak. I want you to know that this was so crazy for me to believe. No way am I going to be a speaker. I told him, what am I going to speak about? He said, you're going to share your story. I said, I don't have a story. He says, yes, you do. I said, no, I don't. He said, yes, you do. And he said, please let me arrange your first speech. And I said, nah, man. And every day he waits for me at school. He says, Nick, let me arrange a speech. And I said, no. And I walk away. And the next day, I look at him. He looks at me. I start walking. He starts running after me. And he got so annoyed at that. He got so annoyed that I'm like, all right, I'm going to say yes. And it was amazing because I got in front of these 7 students, and all I told them was they were beautiful the way they were, and to never give up, and to know that beautiful things can come from your broken pieces. I told them that sometimes you don't get a miracle. Sometimes dreams do not come true. Sometimes things are impossible. But what we must understand is that we can still flourish in our life and achieve happiness and joy and purpose. And I saw these children, they started to cry. And I said, why are you crying? And they said, we were touched. And people were calling me. Can you speak here? Can you speak there? And even my mom and dad, they're like, what are you doing? I said, I'm teaching them. I said, I just want them to know to never give up. It's the understanding that every single one of us, we overcome our disabilities. You don't have to stay in your loneliness. You don't have to stay in your depression. And some of you are going through anxieties and feeling lonely. And I'm so thankful that I can come here to Guntur and not just in your textbook and tell you, I love you and I believe in you and never give up. You know, when you look at India and all the potential that you have as a country, there are so many times where there are evolutions of technology. There are opportunities for India that are coming. And I want you to know to get excited about what's ahead in your country as the world continues to change and evolve. And I want you to know that some people, you've heard of that company, Apple, right? Have you heard of that company, Apple? Have you heard of that company, Google? Have you heard of that company, Tesla? You know, everyone starts at the beginning. I want you to imagine Steve Jobs and Bill Gates and Elon Musk. As entrepreneurs, many people look at them and say, wow, I want to be like them. You know, when I was a child, I didn't know what I wanted to be like, and I didn't know what I wanted to do except for I was good at mathematics, and I liked the idea of money making money. And so I really learned how mathematics work, and I love chess, and I learned some things about investments. But man, I tell you, I love speaking because I told people along the way, if you want to be someone in the technological space, I want you to imagine right now that entrepreneur that's your role model. How do you think they actually dream? Do you think they said to themselves, oh, I want to one day be like them? I don't think so. I actually believe there was a quote that someone said. I think it was Zig Ziglar. Aim your goals and dreams in the heavens, so if they miss, they're still up there with the stars. And I want you to know that in your dream and what you want to do in your life, you must not think, oh, one day I want to be like Elon Musk. No. Ready? Dream bigger. Say, I want to be more successful than Elon Musk. If you want to be a speaker, you want to be more successful than the Vujice. Does this make sense? Does this make sense? And I want you to know that in your life, we all can achieve and make a difference. For me in my life, one of the greatest things that helped me to become resilient was also to have a bigger vision of giving back. And I want you to know that in my life, my parents, when they were children, my mom was 6 years old and my father was 15 when they left their motherland country, formerly Yugoslavia. And they were in refugee camps. I did not have rich parents. I actually have parents who migrated to Australia with nothing. And they always told me, Daddy, I want you to always remember those who have less than you. And for me, I didn't know what that meant. I didn't know what poverty means when I'm a kid in Australia. But I saw on television some of these children who look so beautiful and they don't have as much as me, but they seem happy. And I thought to myself, you know what though? There are a lot of children out there who have less than me, a lot less than me. And I want not just to achieve something in life, and not just to become married, and not just to have children, and not just to be happy, but I want to make the world a better place. Put your hand up in the air if you want to make the world a better place. Put your hand up if you want to make India a better place. Put your hand up. You see, we all start at the beginning, and if more
Hand down.
Indians, then India can be a better place. Does that make sense? You see, in Australia, there was one day a rich man, and when he had success, he got a couple rich people together, and you know what he did? He said, you know what? The government in Australia cannot provide help for all people with special needs. So we're going to help people with special needs, especially the special needs children who graduate out of high school and they want to go to college, but they actually need help. Someone to feed them, someone to take them to the washroom. And so they started this non-profit organization to help people like me go to tertiary studies and college. You know what's amazing? This is amazing. If it wasn't for an Australian to start that non-profit organization, I would not have been able to go to my college degree. If I didn't go to my college degree, I would not have had the knowledge that I have. I want you to know that some of you have dreams and goals, and some of your parents have dreams and goals for you. And when I told my mom and dad that I wanted to be a speaker, they said, make sure you finish school, because we don't know any speaker who's making money. We don't know what kind of dream that he looks like. Make sure you go to school, finish your college, so that no matter what happens, you'll always have something to fall back on if speaking doesn't work out. I'll tell you right now, I'm so thankful, because with that knowledge that I got in college and investments, it made me who I am today, and smarter in business. And because of my degree, I was able to go to America. And from America, for me, was my opportunity to spread my wings. I want you to know that you don't have to go to America to spread your wings. I want you to know that there's going to be opportunity right here in your country, and we're all starting in the beginning in our lives. And just like anybody has vision, I want you to dream big. I want you to be successful, and I want you also to give back. For me, when I was 15 years old, I knew that there were many people in the world who didn't have what I had. And I found a magazine that talked about some people in Africa who had no food. And I thought to myself, wow, how many people have no food today? I want to tell you that I've been around 78 countries, and I've never seen a state government like Guntur look after children like you. I think Guntur is one of the greatest examples, and I want you to know that what I did was I cut out of the magazine, I got someone to cut out a photo of an orphan from Africa and actually sticky tape that orphan smiling on my mirror. Why? Because you know when you wake up in the morning, you comb your hair, you get ready, you brush your teeth, and you look yourself in the mirror to see if you look okay. Well, every day, I would look myself in the mirror, and I knew that there were going to be some days that I was going to feel like I'm going to go through a very long, sad day. And knowing that, I looked in the mirror, and I saw that little beautiful girl smiling, the orphan from Africa. And I said to myself, you know what? No matter what happens to me today, no matter what the world no matter what challenges I have, today I am a day closer to making a difference into that child's life. And every day I thought, you know what? One day I'm going to sponsor an orphan. I want you to know that education and knowledge is amazing. I learned about how money can make money. It is good to work for money. I'll tell you right now, I actually did some home chores at home to actually earn some money from my parents. I would actually pick up the vacuum with my shoulder and my chin, and I would vacuum the floor like this, and I would get maybe $3 a week. Why do I need money? Because when I went to the shopping store, I said, I want that. And they said, no, get it yourself. And I said, I don't have any money. They said, well, figure out how you can get money. And so I picked up the vacuum and I started vacuuming the floor. And I want you to know that I was a hard worker, and my parents never gave me anything I wanted when I wanted it or how I wanted it. I want you to know that if my parents gave me everything I wanted, when I wanted it, and how I wanted it, I would never be thankful for anything. Does that make sense? When you work hard for something and you develop patience and you set goals to purchase something, it gives me the sense of dignity to know that yes, I can have a short-term goal, a mid-term goal, and a long-term goal. And my mid-term goal was to sponsor some children. And by the age of 19, I was making money, but I also learned through knowledge and education how to trade on the stock market. And I made money on the stock market, and guess what I did with my money? I actually sponsored 10 children to give them food, clothing, education, and mentorship.
Bro. Side up
If we could just make a difference in one person's life, does that make it worth it? Yes. You know, when you don't get a miracle, you can still be one. And I don't know what you're going through, and I'll never tell you that I understand your pain. But I'll tell you right now that I believe in your full potential. I believe that if you want to be a teacher, you're going to be a teacher. You work. The first thing I want you to believe is that you need to have courage. I want to ask you, what is courage? Is courage when you are not afraid? No. Courage is despite your fear, even though you are afraid, that you keep on trying. When you go through life and you get scared, FEAR, there's an acronym for fear. False evidence appearing real. And when you go through life, fear will cripple you more than having no arms and legs. You know, when I was a kid, I was so scared that I'd never get a job, that I'd never get married. I think we have a photo of me and my wife up on stage on the screen. Me and my wife, we met in the year of 2010, and my wife and I, we met, and it was love at first sight. I looked at her. I looked at my. Okay. Ready? For these photos to me represent the impossible. These photos represent to me that we can find true love, that we can achieve our dreams. And I want you to know that when I met my wife, she looked at me, I looked at her, and it was love at first sight. I couldn't feel my legs. And she is half Japanese, half Mexican. We call that Japsican. And she was living in Dallas, Texas when we met. And when I looked at her, yes, there were feelings, but for me, I wanted to get to know her, and I wanted her to get to know me. She wanted to know more about my life. I wanted to know more about hers. I want you to know that she had a very difficult life. In fact, when I heard her story, I think that she went through something worse than having no arms and no legs. I think that many people, we discount our emotional disabilities and our pains in our life. And I want you to know that fear will cripple you more than having no arms and no legs. But when you believe, believing beyond what you see, believing beyond what you know, believing beyond what you feel, that's when you give yourself a chance. And unfortunately, as I've traveled now, I don't know, 1,000 schools, I actually found out that there are many teenagers who have thought of giving up and thought of committing suicide. And for me in my life, as I've traveled all around the world, I did anonymous surveys and I asked people, have you ever thought of giving up? Have you ever tried to give up? Did you try to give up because of a broken home? Did you try to give up because of bullying at school? And I'll tell you right now, out of 300 students, 6 to 12% of all students had thought of committing suicide. 3 to 6% of students at school had attempted suicide. 40% of the reason for young people to commit suicide is because of a brokenness at home. And 40% of the reason for teenagers to give up is because of bullying at school. One of the greatest disabilities I had because of my fear, it was instigated because of my school, where there were children who would tease me for how I look. They would look at me, they would laugh at me, they would gossip about me, and they would tease me. And I want you to know that if you've ever been teased in your life, when the world says you're not good enough, get a second opinion. When you look yourself in the mirror and you see ugly, remember my face and my smile. And remember that Nick V says, you're beautiful just the way that you are. You don't need to prove to the world anything. And I want you to know that we all will go through bullying. And I want you to know that if you ever got bullied, I am sorry if someone disrespected you. I am sorry if someone dishonored you, or bullied you, or verbally abused you, or took advantage of you, or made you do something that you didn't want to do. I am so sorry that you've been bullied. To the bully, I'll get to you in a second. But if you've ever thought of giving up, I want you to know that I thought to myself, I'm never going to be happy. I'm never going to get a job. Did I get a job? Yes. I'm never going to get married. Did I get married? Yes. Oh, but I cannot hold my wife's hand. Well, guess what? I don't need to hold my wife's hand. I just need to hold her heart. And you don't need hands for that.
Super.
I thought to myself, I'm not going to be a good father. How can I even hold my children when they're crying? And you know what? My 9-year-old, when he was 7, he said, Daddy, I wish you had arms. I said, why, baby? He said, because I want to know how it feels to have you hug me. And you know what I said? I said, baby, it's okay. He said, yeah, I know it's okay because I'm stronger and I've got arms and I'm just going to hold you longer and stronger. And that's when I realized, you know that saying that it says, the glass is either half empty or half full. You have to be thankful. That's the second key. Number one, you have to have courage to not give up. Courage to dream big. Courage to try even though you're scared. Are you with me? The second thing is to have an attitude of gratitude. To be thankful for what you have. I want you to know that there were many times in my life where I've had many difficulties. In the year 2016, I nearly died. In the year 2017, my father died. And many things have happened in the last couple years of my life that have made it very difficult for me. I want you to know that in 2016, I realize now, not only am I still alive, but I'm so thankful that I am coming here to a country like India and telling you one more time to never give up. I want you to know that in 2016, it was very scary. I was in a hospital and I nearly died. And you know what's worse than dying? Or you know what's worse than nearly dying? Dying. And I look back when my father was dying. Many people, they ask me, how did you cope with your father being buried? And I tell them, well, first of all, I know what we believe in life after death, and everyone has a different religion, and I love everybody. But for my father and I'm so thankful at least I had a friendship with my dad. Some people don't have a friendship with their father, and then their father dies. And I want you to know that no matter who we are, family is so important. Friendship is so important. And when you look at the things that you're thankful for, make sure that you're very thankful for your family. Because tomorrow is not promised to anybody. I have a flight that I'm leaving in about 36 hours, but no one can guarantee that I'm going to get home safely. No one can guarantee that I'm going to be alive tomorrow. So today is today, and that's why you make today count, because tomorrow is not promised. And so I want you to know, your family, make sure you look at your family in the eyes and give them a hug and say, I love you. Make sure, if you are parents here tonight, make sure that whether your child becomes 100% successful in academics or not, make sure that you realize that you need a friendship with your daughter and a friendship with your son. We are family, but we also need to be friends in the family. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Does that make sense? Also be thankful in your school. You know, some people, they might judge you for how you look. I know how that is. You know, when people were not my friend because of how I looked, you know what the conclusion is? The conclusion is they missed out on a good friendship, didn't they? It was their loss, not mine. But when people tease me, I don't tease back. Why? Because negativity brings more negativity. When you have a banana tree or an apple tree or an orange orchid, when you plant seeds of different fruit, that fruit grows. When you plant seeds of bitterness and bullying and judging and dividing, you're only going to get negativity. But when people tease you, do not tease back, because negativity doesn't help India progress forward. India, this is the time for you to love each other like never before. Believe in each other like never before. Become entrepreneurs like never before. India, this is your chance, and it starts here in the beginning in your school. Love the person sitting next to you. Don't tease them. Don't limit them. Don't judge them. We are all different. We must love each other. Yes?
Yes.
Say, I will do my best. Repeat after me. I will do my best to love myself, to love everyone. I will do my best to be courageous. And when I fall down, I will get back up. And no matter what happens, and no matter what I achieve, I will love myself.
Allow myself.
And I will be thankful.
I'll be thankful.
Very good. Are you liking my speech so far? Are you learning anything? I want you to know now the fourth key. When you realize that obstacles come in your way, do you know that sometimes obstacles can equal opportunity? I want you to know that I'm so thankful that I have no arms and legs. Not because it's easy. It's not easy to have no limbs. It's not easy to have obstacles. But sometimes in your life, you can actually see that your obstacles can turn into an opportunity. Can I tell you a story? I was in California and I saw a little boy in a crowd where I was speaking. He had no arms and he had no legs, just like me. And I brought him up on stage and he's looking up at me and I'm looking down at him and I can't put my hand on his hand. We don't have hands. So I put my foot on his little foot and he smiled. And when he smiled, everyone cried. And his mother came up to me and said, wow, now I know there's a greater purpose and reason for my son's life. Thank you for being our miracle. And I thought right there and then, what would I say? I didn't say, oh, you're welcome. You're so welcome. This was my plan all along. No, this was not my plan. But now I see that when you have an obstacle, you can actually change it into an opportunity. I want to share with you how I became a speaker. Can I share with you how I became a speaker? You know, when people invited me to speak, it's not like I was just, confident. I was actually very nervous. When you actually Google the greatest fear in the world, it's actually public speaking. The second greatest fear in the world is death. So some people would actually rather die before they become a public speaker. And when I was getting in front of some crowds, my palms were sweaty and my knees were shaking. And I felt so nervous. But as I continued to practice, practice makes perfect. Practice makes what?
Perfect.
And so now people ask me, are you nervous? I'm not. Because I've spoken 3,500 times and my largest crowd was 800,000 people. I believe one day, India, if you will allow me, you will help me set my own personal record of the largest speaking engagement in my career. I want to one day come to India and speak to over 1 million people. And I'm so thankful for the media attention and the coverage here. But I want you to know that these numbers sounded crazy when I was a kid, when I was a teenager. But I want you to know that I had many obstacles along the way. My mom and dad said, how are you going to make a career out of speaking? My mom said, how much are you going to charge them? I said, I don't know. She said, are you charging them now? I said, no. They said to me, do you know another speaker who actually makes money? I said, no. They said, do you know anything about speaking? I said, no. They said, do you have any invitations right now? I said, no. And they said, well, how are you going to get it? I said, I don't know, but I'm going to try. And so when you look at obstacles, I had no invitations. There was no YouTube. I had no website. And then I tell you right now, I did old school marketing style. And instead of me seeing, oh, this is my barrier, this is my struggle, this is my obstacle, no, this is my opportunity to learn about marketing. My obstacle is not my barrier, my obstacle is my opportunity. You see, when people look at me, they know that I'm a strong person. You want to know why I'm a strong person? Because I've been through a lot. And when you look at your life and you go through problems and you go through circumstances, listen to me, don't give up. When you continue on one day at a time and you get through that, do you know what resistance builds in you? Resilience. You cannot be resilient without resistance. Does that make sense? You cannot build up your muscles until you make your muscles feel resistance. Does that make sense? So when you are doing something in your life and you have obstacles, I want you to see the positive side of those obstacles. And I started calling schools. These schools had never heard of me before. And I pick up the phone and I go, hello? And I said, hi, my name is Nick, and I'm wondering if I can come to your school and speak. And they said, no, who are you? I said, well, I have no arms and no legs, and I want to speak at your school. They said, no, sorry, and they hung up the phone. And what did I do? Did I give up? No. Did I call the same school back? No. I called up another school. Hello? Hi, my name is Nick Vujice, and I have no arms and legs. Can I come and speak at your school? And they said, no, we don't believe that you have no limbs. Thank you so much. There was also one of the schools that said, please don't come to the school because you're just going to scare everyone. And I want you to know that was offensive. But I want you to know I have a choice. Say that. I have a choice. Say it again. You have a choice in how you see failure, and that's the 50. Failure is your classroom. When you see obstacles as opportunities, you can't lose. When failure is your classroom, you're a winner. Does that make sense? And number 6 is dream big. We have to dream big. And so as I learned about how to become a speaker and how I called schools for opportunities, I want you to know that I started at the beginning. When you look at people like the person who invented electricity, when we use electricity today, do you know that someone had to make this? You know, someone invented airplanes and someone invented automobiles. It's amazing. What are you going to invent? You can invent something. If someone else can achieve it, then so can you. And if you're not supposed to achieve it, when one door closes, another door opens. Does that make sense? I called 53 schools and they all said no, and then I finally got my yes. And I spoke and it was amazing. And I realized in my life that if I could just make a difference in one person's life, then everything seems worth it. I want to ask you, take a deep breath in and out. And one more time, deep breath in and out. What are you thankful for? Who are you going to hug tonight? What can you be thankful for that you have tomorrow? What are the fears that are holding you back? What are the obstacles? I want you to know that sometimes life is unfair. But you got to figure it out in what you can change. We must accept what we cannot change, but we can change everything. Accept culture. When you see people teasing other people, it is not acceptable for anybody to be teased by anybody. Every person has value. Do you agree? One of my dearest friends who has a disability, which is Down syndrome, his name is Gary Phelps. And he has a quote, which is now famous. And he says, love everybody, never ever hurt anybody. Can you say that? Love everybody, never ever hurt anybody. I want you to know that. You don't need money to change India right now. I'll tell you right now, so many people say, oh, when I get money, then I'll make a difference. No. If you're not kind with your words, if you're not kind with your forgiveness, if you're not generous in your friendship, if you're not generous until you change your city, and you can't change your city until you change your school. Who wants to change their school like never before? Anybody want to change their school like never before? Yes? I want everyone to stand to your feet right now. Stand up.
Stand up.
If you can't stand up, please stand up.
Yes, I can.
Stand up nice and straight. And repeat after me. Ready? I today make a decision
Take a decision
to never give up,
to never give up,
to love myself,
to love myself,
to love everyone around me,
to love everyone around me,
to respect everyone.
to respect everyone.
I today
Make a decision
that when I see bullying in my school, I will do my best
I would my best
to stop bullying in my school.
to stop bullying my school.
I will do my best
I would be my best
in my school and academics.
in my school and academics.
I will reach for the stars.
I would respect stars.
I will dream big.
I would dream big.
And I will believe in myself.
I would believe in myself.
When I become successful,
When I become successful,
I will not forget where I began.
I would not fear.
And I will today
Today,
remember that I will make a difference
then would make a
for
difference.
my country,
And my
for
country,
my state,
and my state,
for my city,
and my city,
for my school.
for my school.
Thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you so much.
Did you guys enjoy my speech tonight? I want to tell you that I really hope that this is not my last time to Guntur, and I want to say thank you once again to the Honorable Chief Minister of Andhra Pradesh, Sri Y.S. Jagan Mohan Reddy. Thank you. And I want to say one more special message. I want to send a special message to all media of India. Dear media of India, my message, big Vujice, to all of you. I look forward to working with you, with my US team, in how I can reach many more millions of young people around the world. Now that I am 40 and I have 4 young children, I am not traveling as much. And so media of India, I would like to work with you in trying to reach all young people across the beautiful country of India. Media, I would like to work with you. Thank you for loving me. And I want to say thank you to everyone for coming here tonight. Thank you. Have a great night. Thank you, Guntur. I love you.
We love you, Nick. All right, do one thing. Just turn the flashlight or the torchlight on your phone. All right, we'll do something fun. Turn on the lights. Our way of saying thank you to everyone who made this event possible. I want to start at the top with a big thank you to our Honorable CM, Y.S. Jagan Garu. Dear CM sir, thank you very much. And the entire administration team, the police officers here, the DSP, everybody. we really want to thank all the municipal administration officers and so on. This afternoon, silence for 1 second, silence please, just for 1 second, 1 second, 1 second. This afternoon, we went to a school and 2 children came and gave a speech to Mr. Nick Vujice. And they said, our CM Garu does not look at education as an expense, but as an investment into the future. And he said, because of that, there are so many schemes like Nadu Nedu, giving free books, AP YSR, midday meals, Jagannath Goru Mudda,